Hi guys, welcome to the channel. This is Aquascaping on the Fly, Living Art Creations. I'm Anthony, your host and content creator, where through my builds are all spirit-led by divine intervention and Mother Nature. So that being said, today I kind of thought it would be kind of fun to give you the update on our latest 2 new builds. So as of, I think it's been 4 days now, almost 5 days. We're going into day 5 for the Trinity series and the Tree of Life having their shrimps added to the tanks. And then also the last video I did, which I think is now on day 3, is where we took the former shark fin, which was a moss-covered wooden hardscape that I found in nature that resembled the form really of a whale, but I never called it a whale fin. I called it shark fin because it looked kind of aggressive, and I thought that's a really cool, catchy title. And so I covered it in moss and put a drip irrigation system on it and put it on top of a channel tank. Now, a channel tank is something very, very small. It's like, I think it was 4 inches wide by 4 inches tall, made out of very heavy glass. The kind of glass that's in commercial use for businesses, like for display glass, because it has that green tint to it. And I found it at Goodwill for $4. I mean, what's the deal? I mean, that's amazing. If you're not thrifting, what is wrong with you? I say thrift all the time. I'm going to get a bumper sticker that says thrift all the time. I thrift for whatever, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so the shark fin never took off. Matter of fact, it was a haven for gnats. And I got so freaking frustrated because I was using tap water in the channel tank. So the channel tank had like black and blue river rocks that I purchased. I thought it was glorious. That was beautiful. I thought, ooh, that kind of looks like dark water. And it's sitting on top of it. It's dripping with a little bit of water. It's covered in all this beautiful moss that I got on layover and brought back to Texas, and kaput. Every time I would put a new pump on it, it would last about a day. And because I was using tap water, the drip irrigation holes were just getting clogged up. Because it was one of those where it was perforated all the way around it. It wasn't like definite holes where the water just came out of like they do in outdoor garden space. No, this is literally something that just drips all along the whole thing, just water coming out all around the place, but a very, very, very slow pace. And so it just did not work. So I eventually had to take it down. I put it outside for a few weeks thinking it might still grow. It didn't like it. Didn't like the Texas sun because the moss came from someplace up northeast. I can't remember. I want to say Ohio, maybe. I don't know. Don't ever ask a flight attendant where we've been. We'll never remember. We just go to the same place all the time, usually the United States. Hello. And I always forget my layovers anyway. But I can look back on the video, and I usually give a shout out to the city when I've gone foraging when the weather's nice and I can get out and get some stuff and bring it back to Texas to put in a build. So I disbanded it. I let it sit there for a while. And then I got this hunch. Okay, I'm going to order some plants from Buce, and I'm going to go ahead and attach it to the hardscape, and I'm going to rename it Blackfish. Blackfish after the documentary about SeaWorld and the injustice of keeping these majestic whales in these tiny little cages overnight. And so I ordered 2 kinds of Buce, because I'm crazy for Buce right now. Oh my God, I just love Buce. And I ordered Nana Petite and 1 Java Fern. And so I think I spent exactly $118. I remember that. $118. I got the tank on sale at PetSmart for $28 with my coupon and got it delivered. Oh, that was amazing because it's a 20 long. So it's a very inexpensive build. The next thing that's going to go in it is the shrimp. Oh, and I did foraging with my family that was visiting from Texas and Vegas. My nieces and nephews all went out with me. We went into a stream and we were getting rocks. Now, the interesting thing is when I show you the tank, 'cause it's right here, I had to boil the rocks because they were so dirty, and then scrub the rocks because they were so dirty, and then reboil the rocks because they were so dirty. And after 2 boils and 1 scrubbing, I have snails. How does a snail survive a 30-minute full-on boil twice? I don't know. They must be, indestructible. So you're going to see the little snails in there. I'm leaving them in there for right now because I'm like, okay, they were in the water system, so they should be fine. It's fresh water. This is fresh water. It should be okay. So we'll leave them in there for now. The shrimps. Okay, so I'm going to look, since I'm looking at the tanks right now off camera, I can kind of go over them really, really easily with you, and then I'll show you up front. So in Tree of Life, which is my 20-gallon long, which is just like the one we're going to see, Blackfish, I had an order for 20 ghost shrimp. I did ghost shrimp because that is my nod to irigumi, and where you take something that's imperfect and make it perfect. Now, most people choose to do irigumi with rock. I went the opposite direction. I chose hardscape. I chose a shrub that I found in a ditch, and I took the shrub apart. It was a blonde wood shrub, which I thought was amazingly beautiful, and it had these great curves in it that hadn't been cut by the landscaper. So it was pulled up out of the soil. I still got it when it had soil on it. So it hadn't been there that long. And then just took it apart, and then took the next 3 days to rebuild it into, I was going to go originally with a bonsai. And I quickly found out that I am not talented enough to do bonsai. I am way better aesthetically as an artist if I just let things flow organically. And like I've said in my bio for the channel, I get all my inspiration from Mother Nature. I see something and I almost know what to do with it. I'm not going to be presumptuous enough to say that, oh yeah, Spirit led me straight to this. I'm not going to say something like that because I don't know how it works yet. I am new to this renewed spirituality within myself. I'm still learning about it, but I do find things and I know what I'm supposed to do with it. So I'm just going to leave it at that for right now. And you guys just got to trust me on that. But as I evolved and learn more about my spirituality and what gifts I do have, I will share them with you. I will share that knowledge with you because I think this is my platform to spread light and joy and walking in my truth, walking in my light, and staying on my path. And so it gives me great joy. This hobby does give me great joy. You guys have no idea. I could get a video that I spend an hour and a half filming and gets 11 hits. I don't care. The people will come. I know the people will come. The channel is new. The algorithm does not know where to put me yet. It's putting me off in these weird, bizarre places. But I'm not worried about that yet. I have faith. I have faith that the channel is going to grow. And the channel is going to be a voice for people that are like me out there, that when the outside world is consumed with hatred and things that are upside down that should be right side up, especially if you're in North America where I am, you need something that can calm you and center you and distract you from that chaos. That is exactly why I started this channel. I started this channel in December of 2024 after I found out who was going to be our elected president. I knew the onslaught that would start in January, and boy, was I right. I have used this channel to protect me from becoming so doggedly into the negativity of the narrative that is out there in public right now, and especially in mainstream media. I've also used the channel to branch off into TikTok just recently, And I've been posting a series of videos where when I'm at work as a flight attendant, I get to see these beautiful sky pictures that most of us don't have that option to do. Passengers are usually asleep. And so as crew, when one of us sees something beautiful, we tell somebody else and they all want to look at it. And I just grab my phone and I start filming it from my little bitty tiny window in the back. And so I've been using these called Skywatcher's Realm. And it just came into my head. I Googled later to make sure I was going to spell it correctly for the first video I made. And Skywatcher's Realm is all about spirituality. That's not a coincidence. So I used it in the last couple of days. I posted a video the day before the No Kings parade and protest. I call it a parade and a protest because I saw it as a party and a fun party. So I did it the day before, asking everyone to please boycott mainstream media of the horrendous spectacle that was going to be that next day as far as the presidential event. And then that morning, I received a song from Spirit, and I immediately put a video together with the lyrics of that song from the artist that really, you can't listen to the song without raising your hands and singing. And I told everyone, this is your mantra for today. You're lifting your voices in song. And that's how I just kept seeing it as a celebration. And when you look at the videos online of how the protest happened, it was joyous. It was overjoyous. And I was so proud that I had insight and got a message from Spirit to send out. So I'm using this channel not just for the hobby, because I don't see it just as a hobby. I see it as a reward for those who need something in their life that they can call their own to escape to. Well, not even escape. Escape is a bad word because we're not escaping. It's just an alternative to the narrative that's out there. I think that kind of says it the best. Because with this hobby, I'm not advocating for you to go out and spend, $800, $1,000, $1,500 on a tank build. I'm advocating first for you to go out into nature. And some of you to take your shoes off and walk barefoot into nature, because you will find that the earth is extremely powerful and you can get a lot of energy from Mother Nature. As a matter of fact, I was out 2 days ago and I had a feeling I needed to go walk out in nature. And so I go to my favorite little park, wooded park, and it's the first time I ever took my shoes off. I take my shoes off and I'm just like, please protect my feet from stepping on something like thorns or whatever. And I was able to navigate through the forest on and off the trail, and my feet were not affected at all. But I'm going to tell you something that happened to me. I was mostly shaded. It was in the afternoon when I went. It was after like 4:30 p.m. here in Central Time. And it was mostly shaded. When I came up to a section where it was sunny, my eyes were closed and I could feel the warmth of the sun starting at my feet, going up from the earth and into my legs. I could feel the healing, grounded power of Mother Earth right then. And I started meditating, standing still out in the forest or trails or, park, right there. Closed my eyes and started meditating and started getting a spiritual vision. For those of you who are not spiritual or not Christians, that's okay. You can just skip forward to this part. But yeah, I had a vision while I was out there, and it was amazing. It was like a little transformation for me. So even out in a nature walk, you can just feel the power of what is around you and tap into that. It's so calming. So for that little nature walk, I was able to pick up one really cool little piece of driftwood that I had been looking something for a terrarium. I haven't built a terrarium in a while. And by a while, I mean like 3 weeks. That's a lot for me. And I found one that had mushrooms that had already done their flowering. and were on some bark. And I thought, oh, that would look really, really pretty. Because the last time I did a mushroom in a build, it was the fish tank into a terrarium build. And I had 2 beautiful, I think 3 mushrooms that I had found on my trail system. And I put them in there with it. And when I put in the isopods, they were just all over it. I mean, they just loved it. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do something like that. I'm going to do something like that. Again, I just got to find the right vessel, because all my vessels are a little kind of too small for the mushroom also that I found. But so yeah, so tap into what's happening. So on a nature walk, you can find your inspiration. If you don't find your driftwood that you're looking for, try another park and try slowing down when you walk. When you slow down, you're forced to take in nature, and it is really glorious. If I can find driftwood in Texas, pretty much you should be able to find it everywhere. Now, there's some desert areas that, you may have a challenge. Like when I have layovers that are in California, where it's all like Bakersfield. Okay, I'm sorry, Bakersfield. What else is out there? It's all flat. I couldn't find anything. So, I mean, okay, if I were at Bakersfield, I would do a terrarium based on your rocks that you have there and your native plants that can survive in such a hot climate, because your rocks are really, really beautiful there. Excuse me, I am still getting over a cold. I've had a cold for like 2 weeks. Some passenger got me sick. Well, that's my excuse. I always say it's some passenger that did it. But yeah, still do something that's local to you. And for the aquascaping side of it, I use my hardscapes exclusively in my tanks. So I don't buy my rocks. A lot of times I don't buy my gravel. I don't buy the hardscape. So when I'm budgeting for a tank and I'm trying to get you something as inexpensive as possible, the most expensive thing right now has been my plant selections and my shrimp, because I don't want that value pack where it's all the colors are shoved together. No, because once they start breeding, they're just going to go back to brown anyway. I'm keeping my colors separate. So I'm buying packages where there's like 10 shrimp and they're all that one color, and then keeping that one color. So now that we've got all the way back down to the shrimp again. Oh, by the way, so I had spent a video, 2 videos ago, it was 1.5 hours long. And Spirit had said, quit editing your videos. Show the realness, show the mistakes, show the flaws, show the hiccups. Okay, so I just did. I just let that video just go and just ran with it. So that's what I'm doing. So my videos are getting long. If you guys thought before, if you've watched my channel before, you know I can talk and I don't shut up. So now that I have a purpose to talk and I feel like I've got a platform to talk, there ain't no stopping us now. Okay, that is a reference for Spirit right there, and I hope they got it. One morning they sent me that song after I got one of my very first messages from them. They sent me those lyrics and I started busting out laughing, because that was their way of telling me there's no stopping them now. Because now that I was receptive to getting a message, it was rock on, baby. When I say rock on, a lot of my messages are rock songs, and they'll send me a loop song in my head until I get out of bed, and because I usually get them when I wake up, and I get out of bed, research the song, because I can hear it in my head, but I may not know the artist. And because I'm a fan of rock music, and I've said this many times on my videos, a lot of times when I'm doing an overlay description, a voiceover on a video, it's because I'm listening to a rock party mix or a Pride mix. Okay, I'm really into the Pride mix because they do a lot of vintage songs with current songs, and they switch it all up, and I just love that because the beat just goes on. I mean, it just keeps going and going and going. The beat goes on. I think that was a Sonny and Cher reference. I have to pull that up. But anyway, so yeah, so a lot of times for me, it's always music. Music has always been amazing to me because I used to also sing all the time. So to me, music, singing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Thank God I'm not singing on my videos at this point. So we'll just leave it at that. Okay, getting back to the shrimp as I digress. So we had ordered the ghost shrimp for Tree of Life. I ordered the ghost shrimp because I wanted them to not stand out in the irigumi style. I wanted the tree in the irigumi style is what's the imperfect, because it's not perfect. It's a hodgepodge collection of branches that look dead. The life is at the very base of the root system, and that's where I planted Buce. I think it's Aragon is what I planted in that tank, and I love it because it's got this. One of the things about Buce that I love, it almost has a turquoisey blue cast to their leaves underwater. Gorgeous. And then the Rosenvig that I've used in the Trinity series, the mini that gets like 3 to 4 inches tall, I planted a mass of it all over the place, and then used gravel and other round rocks. So I've departed from using aqua soil. I'm a little not happy with aqua soil at the moment because you guys will remember I spent 3 months in the beginning of this saga trying to grow out dwarf hairgrass, which I grew out successfully in a tub that had the thinnest layer of aqua soil, thinnest, with root tabs. And so the runners went out. It was doing beautiful. I transferred into the Trinity series. Nothing. Nothing. Number one, it likes high lighting. You can't do that in your tanks. You put your tanks on high lighting, what are you going to have? You're going to have all kinds of algae bloom outbursting. So my dwarf hairgrass that's in my tanks now is not doing a thing. All that effort was for naught. So I'm kind of pissed right now about that. But in the Trinity series, we have, I'm drawing a brain fart. Garden of Eden. Oh my God, I just had a brain fart. Garden of Eden has Amano shrimp, and I can see why Amano shrimp are everyone's favorite. They're bigger. They are so freaking animated. They're like the most social. It doesn't bother them when I stick my hand in there and do anything. They're just like all over the place. Now, what I have noticed, it's just been 4 days. What I have noticed, okay, so Garden of Eden had this stick. It's a winding stick like this it goes up at an angle and it has like a mouth. It looks like a snake. It's perfect. Its mouth is wide open. When I show it to you on the camera, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, it was covered in moss. I used Christmas moss and with thread. Excuse me. Well, it was a big old mess. Well, the whole tank was a big old mess because it had biofilm everywhere. The snake was covered in it. It looked horrible. Biofilm beyond belief in that tank. So the Amanos had just gone to town. For 2 days in a row, they spent, it's like they all are coordinated. That's the part I love about watching them. I was supposed to get 10 and I ended up with 8. And like 4 of them were on the stick. They have cleaned most of that stick off. And when I saw it after it was cleaned the next day, I think it took them 2 days, the stick was beautiful. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, that is so beautiful. The natural color of the stick came back out again. It was covered in the biofilm. You couldn't see the color of it. Well, I was just like, I should have gotten shrimp a lot earlier because they're doing such a beautiful job. They're really dedicated at going around that tank and getting the biofilm off everything. And remember, Garden of Eden is the one that had Blackbeard in it. So I am hoping that I have seen them. Now, some posts show where Amano shrimp like to jump out. Mine go right to the top of the water. They don't even crawl on the top side of the snake, because it breaches the surface. It comes up, its mouth comes out. They don't go up there. They still stay under the water. And they also like the roots of the house plants that are growing in there. That's something all 3 of those tanks have in common. They all have house plants in them. And the shrimp all love the roots of the house plants. I'm guessing there's a different type of food source that's on the roots that they're really into. So the Amano, they're doing great. I have not had any die off. I did panic because I thought I saw 2 dead ones, but what it was, they had molted. So because they're so light, it looked like they were dead. And I was so happy they're not. So they've only been here 4 days and 2 of them have already molted. Now, turtle in motion. Oh, that's the one. It has Snowball in it. Snowball was missing 1. It only had 9 out of my 10 order. And I've had 3 die. So we're down to 6. And I think we're going to have another one die. They're super, super tiny. In that tank, it's okay for them to be small because remember, turtle does not have a lot of biofilm because turtle was found in a campfire. So there's nothing for it to like grow off of. The organic film on which would have been on the outside of it was charred. So I'm okay with, them being just 6 in there. I don't think I'm going to replace them. If they continue to die off, I'll put something else in there, something hardier. They're super, super tiny. They're really cute because I wanted white. And they're the closest thing you can get to white because you can see them in there. But they're kind of like, they're so delicate. I don't know how 2 died in 1 day. The water parameters are exactly the same across all 3 tanks. Now, and I did lose 1 the very next day. And I thought, okay, well, that was because of maybe the shipping. Maybe they just didn't transition well, and then they died, and then I lost 2 more. Now, 1 of them did molt, and I did read online, they can die during molting. So 1 of them could have been a molting issue, and then now we transition to bird on a wire. Bird on the wire has the orange Rili in it, and they are so much fun to watch because they've got those 2 spots of color on them, and they're small. I have lost 2 of those, and I think I'm about to lose another one. Because today, all those tanks all had wave makers in them that were too powerful. So I turned them off when I introduced the shrimp because it was just, even for the Amano, which are a lot bigger, it was too much for them. So I was trying to figure out a way to keep using the wave maker, and I thought, okay, what if I put like some filtering inside, because you can take off the cover of the wave maker because they're round. And I thought, what if I put something in on the backside where it sucks the water through that would slow it down? No, it didn't do that. It didn't do that because it's the propeller that's making the water spin. And so that wasn't going to work. So I got out my little pumps, my little 5-watt pumps that I had been using for like water features in several of the builds, that then I took them apart and changed them and put them into something else. So I put a little 5-watt pump in each one of the Trinities, put it at the very, very top, and it's just got a little trickle that makes the water move at the surface. Now, the ones that seem to be having a big problem with that is one of the orange Rili. It just seems to keep wanting to thrash itself around. It looks like it's having a nervous breakdown, honestly. And so I'm not going to be surprised tomorrow if I find it dead. There's not hardly, the wave action that comes out with the little 5-watt pumps literally comes out to about 3 inches of water action, and then it just kind of evens out. It's just enough, because I got them right at the top. I just want the top to not remain stagnant. I want it to have a little bit of movement. So the good news is when the little pump is on and I stir something up, I can still keep my net in there, not as fast as I could when I had the wave makers, because they would send something around like lickety-split. No, the little pumps are a lot slower, but you can still just put your net in one spot and the debris will just come right to you. So if you're looking to get rid of, stir some stuff up in your tank, this is the best way to do it. Now, the downside is these little bitty tanks don't have any type of diverter fittings. Like, I would have liked to put them at the base and then have them like point up. They don't do anything like that. I have to make something custom. And I do know that Serpa Designs, I know that Tanner has had a video out before where he handmade his own fittings for a pump that he was putting in, I think, to an aquarium or a diverter. He made his own. And I didn't want to get off into all that. I mean, I could at some point, but I just got them at the top just to give a little ripple. It's kind of nice because when the light shines down, you can see the water's moving a little bit and it adds a little bit of drama in there. So for the orange Rili, we are down 3. So we were already missing 1. So we're down 4. So we have 6 left in that one. Now, let me tell you one thing that I have learned. I ordered all these off of Amazon. Honestly, it was because if I go and get color specific anywhere local to where I am in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the shrimps are outrageously expensive. So I have to take a risk in getting them shipped. All the vendors said online, and I posted on that video. So I will reference this video in the comment section or the narrative section, because they all say we send extras to compensate for dead on arrivals. I had no dead on arrivals. I had just not as many as I was supposed to have, because you would see remnants of the dead. The feed that they put in there, or the food that they put in there for the shrimp, was still in there. There was no dead shrimp in there. That's the downside. The worst one are the ghost shrimp. I ordered 20 and I got 12. I was missing 8. Now, how the heck do you miss 8? Unless they thought they were filling a 10 order and put 2 extra. If that's the case, that's the only one that did it. The other ones, no. I didn't get any extra. I was missing shrimp out of all of them. And out of all of those 3 tanks, I didn't have any dead on arrivals. They all were alive. So we're going to give you the update on that. And then I'm going to show you the new lighting I just put up in Blackfish. Now, Blackfish, you guys know that I've praised my lighting that I've been using since day one, the little mini 1-strip, full spectrum plant lighting. I don't want to use it on this tank because this tank is sitting here by itself. And if I put a strip on it, it's going to show, and I don't want it to look ugly like that. They don't show on the other tanks because, remember, I've taken them off of the tanks themselves, and they're hovering on the branches above it or the shelf, hidden on the shelf above a tank. So you can't see the lighting. You can see the product of the lighting, but you can't see the lighting yourself. And I'm all about making this as aesthetically pleasing as possible, since the studio is right here in the living room. And that way, whenever I decide to film and I can turn around and you can see the tank setup, then it'll always give you a reference to, you know, what is behind me, and you can see what's happening behind me. I still have room for 1 more 20 long. I showed on my last video, I have 2 tubs set up on my bar in the kitchen that are full of dark tannins because it's full of wood. Wood that I've already attached plants to, that's just been sitting, they're sitting in there, hopefully weighing themselves down to where they will sink, and hopefully getting all their tannins out now. I'm trying to be kind of proactive as far as I know kind of what I want to do on the next build. I kind of want to do a terrace. And by terrace, I mean like, here's one wood structure on the base. We'll level it off behind it, maybe do some plantings, do another terrace. It'll give us something else to put something up there. I was thinking of a terrace idea for the next tank and incorporating my hospital tank in it. So those of you who have seen some of the older videos, I have a 2-gallon vase that is 18 inches tall. I built a conical shaped thing out of twigs that had no bark on them. Much like the Vietnamese or Taiwan wood that you could order, I found a bush in Texas that was stripped of all of its bark. I picked all the pieces up and kind of just like put it together like a puzzle. And it kind of just, it just has this shape like this that fits the profile of the vase. And it just continues to not do well. I'm going to have to figure out what's going wrong because I have a build in mind called the Rainbow Series that's going to be bowls. And if I can't get it to grow in a vase, a bowl may not work either. I don't know what's wrong. It has a pump in it. I put a pump in it just for the purpose of making sure water is circulating in it. But it doesn't do well for days on end. And then I have to do like a 50% water change, put new water in it, and it starts its cycle all over again of destruction. I don't know what's going on with it. It keeps doing this over and over and over. It has since the beginning, and I'm not sure what it is. It gets that skim on the top, and I try to attack it and act aggressively before it turns putrid smelling. And then also I have another vase that's 1.5 gallons or almost 2 gallons that has a sword planted in. A sword that was from an order way back in January that I almost killed everything, which is why I have a hospital tank. And I wanted to be able to plant that sword somewhere. Now, when we get over here to blackfish, I really don't want any plants in the substrate. I put sand in there. And let me tell you, please, if you're thinking about putting sand in, don't do what I did. I put water in first because I had my hardscape with my plants already attached, so they couldn't stay dry. I put the rocks in there I wanted that I found in the river stream, and then I had to pour some sand in there. Well, there was too much water in there. You know what happened. It was a big old mess. I had to drain the whole thing out. It took me 3 hours. Then I get back on camera, and the water's all cloudy, and I'm like, okay, look, this is what happened, blah, 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 blah. This is a stupid mistake. But that's how we learn. So I used wash sand. I bought wash sand, and I washed it twice myself, and it still was just like an atomic bomb explosion. That's what it was. It's just a mushroom. So it looks amazingly beautiful, and the rocks are white, so I cannot wait. I think I'm going to show you that one first because I'm so proud of how it looks. And it's got 2 of my snails in it. So I need to find out if I can get the camera close enough to give you guys a peek at the snails. So now that I've rambled on and on and on and on to my heart's content, thank you for allowing me that. And of course, you can always fast forward. It would be amazing if I would put chapters in there and I could just say, this is all blah, 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 blah. Oh, here's your content. No, I'm not going to do that. You can fast forward yourself if you want. So let's get to this one and let you see what it looks like so you can see the update. So give me a second and we'll get right back to it. Okay, sorry, we can't do blackfish first because these lights are going to go off. All right, so now we are looking at Tree of Life. And I'm going to guarantee you, if you find a shrimp in there, you're a wizard because I can't find them. At most, I could find 1 or 2. I think I found 3. At the most. I know where one of them likes to hang out. Well, I say one of them, they all look alike. But one of them normally likes to hang out right down in here. And sometimes you'll find them right through there. They love, I'm going to zoom in on this little section where they do love. Now, I think I've told you guys before, when I designed this one, I designed hiding places all in there. So let's back up. Yeah. Okay, you see that? That's a little cave in there. So they've got places to go. They're not stuck anywhere in there. You see what I'm talking about? Where when you look at this, it looks like the plant, it looks like the tree is dead, but actually there's green leaves in the bottom. I'm zooming in just to see if I can see them. No, there's usually always one here. Okay, so when you look at this, yeah, so like the greenery from the Buce Aragon is just at the base. Okay, there's always one there. I don't know what's going on. They're probably tired. They're really active when the lights are off. Before the lights come on, I can come see them. Or sometimes I'll get up during the night and see what they're doing. You know, because I'm a good parent. I want to make sure they're happy. Okay, there's usually someone hanging out back here. I don't see anybody. They're in their little hiding spots. So not only behind where we have that little section, this whole mound, there's room all behind this mound. So this is kind of like a fake. I didn't fill it up. There's gravel underneath it, but you know. Yeah, they're done for the day. They're like, yeah, we're done. Okay, so they're not getting paid for their camera work. And I don't hardly ever find them up on top here in this section of the canopy. Now, the company is sending me 8 replacements. I hope they send 10. I need it because this is a big tank and there's just a few of them. So, yeah, there's none. See this wood structure goes all the way, front, back. That's why there was never any cleaning this for me. I could never clean this because it's too much. I made it too big on purpose. Not because I was thinking about cleaning it, which I wasn't. I was thinking about filling the space because the artist in me said, oh no, I want the whole space filled. I keep hoping we're going to see one right there. But no. Okay. All right. See there where that leaf is coming out there, just on the left, above the pinkish rock? That cave system goes all the way to there. And then that's where the ground picks back up again. So that's how much room they've got. So let's back out. So my version of the irigumi was because this is really the structure that's the imperfect to perfect. That's my take on it. All right, let me get you set up to look at the top ones. Oh, they're swimming for you guys. Oh, they knew you were coming. Okay, you can see some debris that's still hanging around. And now you can see how low the flow is. You see that one piece of debris? That's what the flow is right now. All right, so you have one on the right that I just saw. Oh, I can't get up because I'll be in the shot and I don't want to be in the shot. You see? Hang on. Here you go. There you go. They are just, I think they seem to be really enjoying. And look, you have one that's sunbathing on a rock on the right, on the left. Oh my God, I feel like I'm in driver's education all over again. They told me to turn right and I would turn left. You have one that went straight up to the Adam and Eve. The one I'm calling Adam. Adam is on the left. Eve is on the right. You see that one that just darted between Eve and Adam? Yes. That's how this got its name of Garden of Eden. to me, this is Adam and Eve, which are two pieces that I brought together to form one unit. They were two individual pieces that I glued together, two curves. I'm guessing, I think they were off of the same branch because they are the exact same coloring. When I was out in nature and found this, I was at one of those discus golf parks. Oh, be careful when you're in those places because those little frisbees come through there flying out of nowhere. You have to really be careful. So I found this wood, these two pieces, and I picked them up, and I had my chainsaw, yes, a battery-operated chainsaw that I carry with me. That's why no one messes with me. Hello, if you mess with me, I'm going to come after you like Jason with my chainsaw. Really can't do much damage with a battery-operated chainsaw, though. But anyway, I had the chainsaw in one hand, and I had to put them in one hand. And you see that it's bulky. So I did, and when I put them together to hold it in one spot, both of them, it was like, voila, this is your Adam and Eve. And then it was a few days later that I found the stick in another park I like to go to, and it had washed up during one of the storms where you get a rush of water and then things stick out that you never would have seen before. This stick has the most beautiful coloring. You can't see it now because it's covered up. It has gorgeous colors in it. I should have just left it alone. But I wanted it to be green, like a green snake, and to go with how everything, fits in there. Excuse me. Now, I am a Cancer by birth, and so kind of by accident, when I put these rocks on the left, do you guys think it looks like there's a little crab pinchers coming out? Like at the very top rock, there's like a pincher that's green and then a pincher that's kind of white, because this is the pinto, I believe, the Nana Pinto. It looks like a little crab coming out from under there, like it's a little hiding spot. That's like me. I'm the crab coming out. Oh my gosh, it's full circle. I'm going to sing the song from Lion King next. No, let's move on to the next video, shall we? Hang on. Okay, you have a rare treat. You have one of the snowballs, which is actually feeding right now on Turtle in Motion. If you will look down from the golden, the Anubias golden at the top of the fin section where the flippers would be, or their, I don't know what they call it, flippers or feet on a turtle, go straight down to where the trio of rocks are. You'll see one of the white snowballs right there attached. And you can see better in this one, see how the water trickle is just really, this one I have pointed as much as I can at the top. And I'll try to get the other two that are like that, because this one has the best. You can see how the lighting gets diffused and it comes down and creates this beautiful cascade. I want them all to be like this, and but I'm only been able to get this one pump high enough to do that, and I think it has something to do with the water level. I think the water level in this one is a little bit lower. And let's talk about water level. You guys that complain about your water level showing on your tanks, that is another reason why I use the banding that's on there. That banding hides your water level, so you're not going to get that nasty scum level. Now, yes, I need to clean. Oh, whoop, there goes one. Okay, did you see that? One just came around. That's the one that's kind of loopy. I think one's going to die out of here. It just got, goes right up to the top. I don't know why they're doing that. I have no idea. No one else is having trouble. I've got one other one in another thing that's having trouble. I don't know why they're doing that. It's like they're either freaked out or they just can't calm down. Maybe when the lights go out, they'll be better. what was I talking about? Oh, so the flicker on the water. I think it just looks amazing there. Now, and you can also see in this one, when I was talking about how the shrimp also love the root system, do you see in the left corner in the back, that is a rattlesnake plant, and you can look at its one main shoot. Now, I cut all my roots back. So that long one that's going down, that one is directly making that transition into going into a water section, because it's really, really going after the water that's in the tank. And so I love that. Now, these are crystal clear waters. There is a film on the glass. Yes, I have not cleaned these in like 2 weeks. And I'm probably not going to, because I want to make sure these shrimp get completely adjusted to their area and comfortable before I go in there and try to do anything that's going to mess up the glass system. Now, this one is where I was talking about the dwarf hairgrass. You can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to pan it down just a little. Look at that. There's basically no dwarf hairgrass left. The aqua soil, a downside, it rolls and there's no cap. I didn't want a cap. I wanted a very clean, zen-like feel here. I wanted my rocks to pop, and that's the aftermath of it. My dwarf hairgrass is not doing well. I want a carpet in there. I'm going to have to do something else. I've seen videos where like Monte Carlo is probably going to be my only alternative to putting something like that in there. Or maybe dwarf sage. I don't know if Sagittarius could even develop in the rolling aqua soil or not. I know that because dwarf hairgrass sends out runners, they're super, super thin. I've seen them, and they just don't stick together enough to hold themselves in the structure, and they need root tabs. And I'm just not going to keep up with that maintenance. So that's a problem for these tanks. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, you're going to see, oh yeah, there's a fast moving one in there. It like darts around. It's been doing that. That's it, there it goes. It's going to dart around. And it has been. I'm not sure. It'll touch down and then it'll go back up around. And now we have two of them doing it. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen for when I wake up tomorrow. If they're going to be alive or not. Maybe they're in extreme distress, that I've messed the tank up. And remember, this one I've had the most, I've had just as many die out of this one as the other one. So it's like they're not, it's not an issue with them not being able, they swim against the flow, but they're just not behaving like they normally behave. I'm not sure what's going on here. But the tank is looking really good. The biofilm it's shorter than it has been. I don't know if it's because it's dying out. I know I've caught them grazing on it a little bit, but not as much. I am loving the fact that the Buce I have in this one is Leylina, and Leylina is doing really, really well. The secondary plant, well, actually the minor plant, which is the Nana Golden. Remember, Nana Golden is in all three tanks, and that's that bright green. They all have that in common. They're all supposed to have a Rosenvig in them, but I think my Rosenvig has died out in turtle. So they're all supposed to keep that, consistent theme. The only thing they don't have is they don't all have Buce in them. So that gives you, okay, look, see, they're going against stream. That water flow has got a plant right in front of it. I'm not sure what the problem is. Maybe they don't like it because the plant back there was their favorite place to hide, and now it's sitting in front of the pump. And that could be part of it. I have no idea. But you can tell the Hoya, which is in the front section here, let's scan up a little bit. You see the Hoya right there. Those roots are doing really, really well. And then back here in the corner, the pothos, oh my God, their roots are all the way down to the bottom. And look, the plant is starting to spread, and I'm looking forward to it to going up and getting attached to the limbs up top. So now let's go to blackfish. Okay, so let's start with just the overall view. The lighting is a huge improvement from the one I had originally used. I was using one, and I didn't like it because it didn't evenly distribute the lighting. I'm looking for the white rocks to jump off of that aquascape. That's my wow factor. The fact that you have this incredible structure, and then you have these beautiful white rocks that are right there with it. Now, before we go any further, I want to see. Let's do this. A little bit closer, go down, closer, go down. Okay, so I love the water action, but what we're looking at, as you can see, one more closer. Now, get really close in. Okay, cool. That is the shot I want you to see. And as always, I never have my pointer when I need it. Oh, and I've started using a different pointer. Okay, so you can tell, here's the backside of blackfish. Look at its tail. Its tail goes down all the way to the base almost. And then you can see on the front side here, it goes all the way front, all the way here. So there's like 3 inches to the front, and that's less than, that's probably 1 inch to the back side. So what I did was, you can't see it on camera because the tank is, the cave is over here. So this rock is on top of other rocks right here that you really, see if I can get a little further. Okay, yeah, there's like a base rock right here. There's an entrance to the cave here. There's an entrance to the cave on this side. There's an entrance on the back side, as well as all underneath Blackfish is an opening underneath between rocks on this side and rocks on the other side. So there's amazing places for these new shrimp to hide all over the place. And I did that on purpose. I actually wanted more layers of rock, but this is what I came out with. I did not want to completely hide the fin because I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. Now, the back side of this is not very attractive. A big old chunk of it is out on this side, on the back side. So what I did was, there's a hole where the Java fern is. So Java fern is just kind of shoved into a hole on the back side so it could stick up and grow up. And then everything else is attached to the wood. And there's 2 types of, there's a smaller Buce here, and then a larger Buce here, and then of course this is Nana Petite that grows up to here. I had it higher. I had to take down 2 that were up higher. So let's kind of back off a little and give you that vision. Okay, so you can see now the rocks that are on the backside there, and it's mirrored in the tank. Loving the look. I really, really like this. To me, it's simple, it's elegant, it's sculptural, it's art. I love it. I have already picked out the shrimp that I want for this tank. I'm going to get the emerald greens because I'm just going with a green theme for this tank. We're going to build upon the fact that all the plants in here are green, and then the shrimp themselves are going to be green, and they're going to be the emerald green. This is the 20 long, so I need at least 20 shrimp in there. So I'm probably going to get 2 orders. I've already found the vendor that I want to use, so I'm probably going to get 2 orders of shrimp for this one. And I did use the Fish in Cycle API additive when I put this tank together. So I have it, you can tell it, excuse me, it's already, the water's already cleared up. But you can see right here, the sand has deposited itself on blackfish and on the plant. So I've got to go in there with my little paintbrush, and I'm waiting to do it until this video is done, and stir all that up so it will sink down here. Now, this took 2 days for mine to settle. It was completely cloudy to begin with. I have 2 snails, and honestly, one of them is right in your eyesight. Right there. Not sure you're going to be able to, yes, there you go. There's a snail right there. That's a little hitchhiker. There's 2 of them in there. I don't know how they survived 2 boilings. I really don't. But they decided to come along. They're more than welcome until they do some destruction, and then we'll get rid of them. But, so there you have it. This one, I have to look on my date. I'll leave a thing in the date section where you can kind of see. And on the build video, I listed exactly the plants I used and of course how much it cost. The shrimp are going to be the big thing. It's going to end up being, now the light fixture was just $17. I was able to find, okay, so what's cool about the light fixture, it's what I like about it, is it's 2 on 1 timer. So those aren't 2 individuals. They are 2, and it has 8 lighting levels, which I love that. And it has different lighting settings. I went straight for the white because I'm looking for something that's going to highlight the white rocks in it. This is on level 4, and I don't think I want to go any higher. I think because all the plants that are in there are, you know, low light. So I would consider this something that's a low light. And then the wave maker on this one is the full size for a, I believe a 20 up to a 40 gallon. And I have it pointing as much as I can to the top. One thing I've noticed in my studio, of course I've known the floors are completely out of level. It's concrete and they're completely out of level. That is what's very frustrating. So I've had to keep tweaking this table it's on to get the water to be kind of even front to back and then side to side. It's like, it's horrible. The concrete, whoever did the concrete did a bad job. But I'm hoping to be moving at some point because I'm about to outgrow my studio and I want to keep building. I have another build I can do that we're going to call the Rainbow Series, which is going to be bowls based on the colors of the rainbow. I feel very strong about that. I've been thinking about it for a long time. So that, of course, means I've been stressing about it. And then I have the one that I want to do that's the terrace. That may max me out on space. So I'm hoping that something comes forth to where I find out that, you know, there's going to be a bigger place for me in my future. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed the in-depth update on all my tanks, and look for the next video. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.